Easter. We're so glad you could be with us today. I hope that you're taking out just a little bit of time from the preparation for this most blessed holiday that we celebrate throughout the year. The resurrection of Jesus Christ. Up from the grave, he arose triumphant over death. No other God anywhere in the world can make that statement that he was dead and now he's alive. Only the Lord Jesus Christ, whom we serve. This is the bold statement that Jesus makes in John chapter 11, where he says, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies. And whoever lives and believes in me will never, ever die. Then it says, do you believe this? Well, I believe it because I have tasted of the life that only the Lord Jesus can bring. And if you haven't, I would invite you at this time of the year, just taste and see how good the Lord really is. Today we're going to do some goodies that we always connect with Easter, and that is the Easter paska or the Easter bread, and then of course some Easter eggs, some candies. And we're going to show you some things. We're going to give you lots of recipes. Please take the phone off the hook if it interrupts you normally, because you tell me that in the letters sometime. Take the phone off the hook. This half hour, you're going to be glued to the set because we're going to move through these recipes very quickly. And of course, at the end of the program, we'll tell you how you can get all of today's recipes for everything that you see. Stick with us now. We'll be right back to start our special Easter tribute. We'll be right back. Here's today's at-home hint. If you cover chocolate as it melts, condensation underneath the cover will drop back into the chocolate and make it grainy. Work with less and leave the cover off.
If you have an at-home hint, a favorite recipe, or just a friendly greeting you'd like to share, we'd like to hear from you. Post it in the comments of this video or visit our Facebook page.
Well, the first thing we're going to get started with today is our Easter paska. Now, you can go ahead and make your regular bread dough an egg bread dough if you want to. I personally think using these frozen bread doughs is the easiest way out and the nicest way to make any kind of a bread, hot cross buns, bread dough, whatever. And you just let them sit out for about 2 hours. Now, to make the paska, you have a totally thawed. You can use wheat bread, white bread, whatever. And what you do, you have to start to shape it into a rope. So you're going to, kind of squeeze this out because it's been thawing for a while. And it does have some, the yeast in it makes it rise. So you're going to have to squeeze it to try to make it into a rope. And the way you do that, maybe the kids could help you with this a little bit. Wash those hands real good. But anyway, you make it into a rope, and if you want a nice big round paska, you make it about 36 inches long. And not only one, but you can make two. And at the end of the program, I'm going to show you that we even used a wheat bread and white bread and made them, twined them or braided them together. And it makes a real nice bread. Okay, again, we're taking our bread and we're just kind of pulling it into shape before we start rolling it, because we need these to be about the same length, because we're going to braid them. Now, when you think of braiding, you think of 3-strand. Well, this really isn't 3-strand, what I'm doing. This is only a 2-strand. And of course, like I told you, this is 2 loaves of bread. So this makes a nice big round paska. You also have some eggs. Now, you don't have to hard boil them. These are just raw eggs that we've colored, because when you bake this in the oven, it will cook the eggs, so you don't have to boil it first. But make sure that you mark those if you're doing that, so that the kids don't pick up a raw egg, or you could have a major mess on your hands. I like to bake these ahead of time because they freeze well, very, very well. And we have a lot to show you at the end of the program. All right, let's imagine that I'd probably work this a little longer if I had the time, the luxury of the time. But then you take your 2 strands of bread dough and you connect them together, okay? Connect them together, and I just wrap them one over the other, because that's what makes it look like a braid. Just one over the other, one over the other. And you're going to take more time to do this. You'll take more time to do this at home than I'm taking today. Then you make them into a circle and you tuck the ends under, keeping the braid look. Take your pan like this, and you're going to spray it with Pam, or you're going to butter it, whichever you want to do. Put your bread dough on there, again, making sure that you tuck it under so that the braid or the twist part shows. Then you're going to nest your eggs right in the center of the dough and try to do it so that when it cooks, because this is going to puff way up when it hits the oven, you're going to not want this to roll off, so you have to nest it down in there, all right? And make them the colors of Easter, you know, the pretty pastels. Then you're going to take one egg, a whole egg, a beaten egg. You'll do the egg wash right now, and you do that all over this bread. Don't miss a spot, because where you miss a spot, it won't be nicely browned and it won't be shiny. It will be dull. And you'll say, why didn't I take more time to do that? That's a lesson well learned if you just remember to not do that too hastily, because you want to be sure that you have covered it all. Now you're going to let this rise for about 30 minutes, but you take a piece of plastic wrap that you have sprayed Pam on. We've already done that because the loaves were sitting on it. And all you do is cover this and let it sit for 30 minutes. You'll bake that for about 30 minutes in a 350-degree preheated oven, and there's your paska, okay? Easy, right? I told you it was going to be simple today. The next, what we're going to do is hot cross buns. Now, hot cross buns are a tradition, particularly at this time of the year. And again, you can use the raisin bread dough, the frozen bread dough, it's raisin, or you can use white or wheat, whatever you like, whatever you particularly like, you or your family. And I take one loaf of it and I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again, and then I cut each of those halves in half again, so you'll have 8 pieces all together. One loaf of bread will make you 8 hot cross buns. Now, you can use a sweet dough. I've made them with sweet dough, and I've made them with just the plain dough. What you need in hot cross buns, first of all, you need to spray the pans. Okay? And I like to take raisins and a little bit of cinnamon, and just add that to the raisins. Mix them around a bit, just like this. And then I lay these raisins out on my counter, and I take a piece of the dough, just like this, and I just go like that, put some raisins in there, and then I shape it. And you want to shape it because those raisins will be inside, and that cinnamon will flavor your dough. That's how big you want it. Pop it right in there. That's as simple as it can be. I mean, how much easier can it be, right? You got it. This is so simple. And when you have them all formed and you put them in your pan, they bake in an oven. They don't get an egg wash, because what you're going to do is put an icing. These have to bake, I believe these bake for 20 minutes, okay? And again, this is something you get the kids involved with. Something that you can, this is a nice breakfast on Easter morning. This would be nice for breakfast. Nice addition for your dinner in the afternoon. This is a nice addition anytime, because these buns, they're very light. They don't taste real, oh, I couldn't eat them, they're so heavy. Some nice jam or jellies beside this, or that little touch of icing on top. Our friend Rose, who's on her picture, is with Linda's and Roger's and Paul's and on our second cookbook. My friend Rose, she loves hot cross buns. Now this woman tells me, oh, Arlene, the buns at such and such a place are just so good. You have to go there, you have to try them. She knows her hot cross buns. I would let these rise just a while after I had them like this. I would let them rise. Then I would put them in the oven. Remember, no egg wash on these. When they come out, this is as nice and light. They freeze well. If I were going to freeze them, bake them a couple of days ahead, don't put the icing on them. Do that fresh, because the icing never holds up, if you know what I mean. So I have some icing here. You can do this with just, this is just plain old confectionery sugar icing, just a little bit of water in with the powdered sugar. And all you do is take and go across. That's why they call them hot cross buns. And you go the other way. Now what I like to do, after I get this off my fingers here, is just put a couple of raisins on the top of them, because that kind of tells you what's going on the inside there. Let me do that one more time for you. Hot cross buns. These aren't hot now, but they were when they come out of the oven, and sometimes if you put the icing on them then, the icing runs off. So I like to wait till they cool down a bit, and then I do my raisins on top and I do my icing. There you have it, hot cross buns. And when we come right back, we're going to do our Easter candies. So stay with us, we'll be right back.
Do you love watching At Home with Arlene Williams? Then be sure to check out our new YouTube channel. It's filled with classic episodes from over 20 years of At Home, and more videos are added each day. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
Well, we're back. Let me show you this before we do our candies. I hope that you can appreciate. This is my bunny family. I think these are so cute. These are made out of the frozen bread dough. This is a wheat dough that I used here, and these are used, I use the plain white breads with these. This is so easy to make. I'll include the recipes. I can't show you today because there's a little bit of time, but I will include the directions on how to make these. But isn't this impressive to put on your family's table for Easter dinner? I think these are great. This is our bunny family, the at-home bunny family, all right? All right, come with me now. I'm going to show you how to make, this is called a joyful coconut egg. And the reason why we call it joyful is because it tastes similar to almond joy, but it's a pecan instead of almond. But it's that heavy coconut. And what we've done is taken 1 can of Eagle brand milk, put it in our mixer, and we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And this is a cup and a half. This makes a lot. This is a cup and a half of soft butter. Go ahead and put that in. And next to that then will be a 1 pound bag. They're putting only 14 ounces in it. It still makes it okay, but it calls for a 1 pound bag of the flaked coconut. So just drop that in there. All right. And let's see, the pecans. We have about 2 cups of finely chopped pecans. This recipe is great because if you have people that you want to make a gift of an egg for, this is what you'd want to do. This makes some of the nicest, like half-pound eggs, or you can even make them quarter-pound eggs. But it's wonderful because once you make this, you don't use it right away. By that I mean you have to let it firm up in the refrigerator for overnight. And then the next day you melt your chocolate and you make them into any size eggs that you want. This is about 5 2/3 cups of powdered sugar. Told you, this makes a lot. If you have the energy and the whatever it takes to sit and roll small eggs out of all that you're going to be preparing here, then this is great to put on in your Easter baskets or whatever. But if you feel like, oh, I'm going to make a couple of 1 pound eggs just for my family members, if that's one of the things that you like to do, then by all means, do that. It will go into a buttered 13 by 9 pan. I need to mix this around a bit. You know when you have powdered sugar in the kitchen? Now, I'm going to probably end up looking like the abominable snowman here because, like I said, it's coming back out. Yes, it is. Okay. You know, every time we do Easter eggs with powdered sugar, I end up looking like something that just came out of Nanook of the North. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now it's going to do it. I know you think this is too much in here, but trust me, I've made this before and it'll work. But this has to beat for 6 minutes with a mixer. So when you make this at home, remember that. Just remember you have to beat this for 6 minutes with the mixer. I know it's going everywhere. Quit laughing. Look at this. Why is it every time I do an Easter program, we end up with powdered sugar everywhere? Oh, well, it's going to be all right. This is stuff that happens at home, right? Doesn't this happen to your family? You better believe it. All right, let's see here now. We're going to turn it up a bit. There we go. And like I said, 6 minutes, put it in there, cover it, and put it in the refrigerator. When you bring it out in the morning, you'll have to cut it. It'll be very stiff, and you cut pieces of it. But as you take it in your hand and you form it either into eggs, big eggs or small eggs, it works very, very well. The warmth of your hand will mold it into that particular shape you want. Make a large egg, some small eggs. We have some large eggs we're going to show you at the end of the program in just a minute. So we're gonna let that go. Wow, I'm ashamed how bad that looks. Sorry, folks. But you understand what it's like when you're using powdered sugar. One year we had a cloud in here. It looked like the place was going up in smoke. We had so much powdered sugar. But that's the fun part of this, right? Okay, next we want to do peanut butter eggs because these are very easy. This recipe was sent to me by Beth Raybuck, and I want to thank Beth for this because I've made these. These are very, very good and very easy. You want to take a bowl, and you're going to put 2 cups of peanut butter in the bowl. This one you'll do by hand, and you really, you know, if the kids want to get involved in making some of this to give as gifts to their friends or to their grandparents or whatever, let them get involved. It's great. You're going to mix this up with, let's see, some more powdered sugar, and let me put the 4 tablespoons of melted butter in here first. Now these aren't low fat, I know, we're all working on that. We've all been bad for a while and we're all getting back to it now, right? We have to encourage each other with these things because it makes you feel bad when you get away from it. It's hard to get back, isn't it? I know. Okay, then we're going to add, this is 3 cups of Rice Krispie cereal, just the plain Rice Krispies. You eat in the morning with milk and sugar. Now we're just going to put them in here. Okay, now this makes a crunchy type of an Easter egg in that it tastes like, kind of like a crunch bar. You know that Nestle Crunch bar? But then it has the peanut butter flavor, which the Crunch bar doesn't have. But that's the addition, and that's the flavor that you get. And you're going to have to work this with your hands. I'm not going to do that, but because I want you to, I don't want to get this over my hands right now. I've got other things I want to show you. But you're going to work this, and you think it's not going to come together. But honest, all of a sudden, it will come together. And what you'll end up with is something that looks like this. And what you do, you have shaped these into egg shapes. And I like to keep these in the refrigerator. Make all your egg shapes, put them in a pan, and then you'll have them so that when you dip them in the chocolate, and all we're using here is milk chocolate chips or the milk chocolate big bars, the milk chocolate bars, and you melt that down and you dip them in individually, scrape off the bottom, put them on wax paper, put them back in the refrigerator. I like to wrap them individually because I don't like to just put them all in a big box or something. I like to wrap things like this individually, and if you like to double dip them to add more chocolate, that's fine, no problem. But believe me, all of this will end up looking like this. You dip them in chocolate. This makes a lot. Surprising. That recipe makes a lot, but so does this recipe. And this is stuff you can do ahead of time, which is something that I like. Okay, we have one more recipe, and there are people who are on sugar-restricted diets who have a very difficult time at this time of the year when there's so many goodies, that I call them, floating around, and people are, have a piece of this and have some of that and have some of this, and here you are, because of health reasons, you cannot partake of the chocolate or the real sweet confections that everybody's trying to have you taste. This is a diabetic Easter egg recipe. There's no chocolate in it, but it starts out with cream cheese that is at room temperature, and what they want you to do is to blend this to kind of make it creamy. And at home, when you're doing this, you're going to blend this for about 4 or 5 minutes just with a spoon. Don't use the mixer, just until it becomes really, really, really creamy, all right? And then you're going to add 10 packets, this is an 8-ounce cream cheese, 10 packets of Sweet and Low, these little pink envelopes, just like that. I'm sure you could use equal. I don't know what the ratio is for sweetness. You'd have to try it yourself and figure it out, whatever that was. And you're going to mix it around. This is really very, very, very easy. Next, we're going to put, this is about 3/4 of a teaspoon of grated orange rind. Just take a fresh orange and grate it. This is grated orange rind, 3/4 of a teaspoon. The same with the lemon rind. All right. And then about 3 tablespoons of chopped walnuts, chopped pecans, whichever one you'd like. We're just going to put that in there. Now, what I have done ahead of time is I have tinted some coconut. If you're going to make these one day, I would suggest you tint your coconut the day before if you have the luxury of the time. And all I did was take my regular old food colorings and I put so much coconut into a container in a jar, took the food coloring on a measuring spoon, put about 1/2 teaspoon of water, and just put about 15 to 20 drops of the particular color that I wanted, in the water, put the water in the jar, and then shook the jar around, and it's amazing how evenly that will color that coconut. Then I put it out on a plate and let it air dry a little bit, because if it's too moist, it will not adhere to your egg. Okay, as you can see, this is just cream cheese, the orange flavor, the walnuts, and now what you do with this, you take a little amount and you work it into an egg shape, kind of like that, and you roll it in the coconut. Now these you have to keep refrigerated. Remember, these have to stay refrigerated because of the cream cheese. And cover them all over completely. And there you have, nice little egg. This makes about 15 to 20 eggs, depending on the size. It's hard to say how many you're going to get or what the quantity will be, because if some people make them bigger, some people make them smaller. But really, about this size, this will make about 15 to 20. That's all there is to it. Put them on wax paper and put them in the refrigerator. And when we come back, we're going to show you the complete Easter table. We hope you've enjoyed the program. Stay with us now. We'll be right back.
Just go to ctvn.org/at-home to get all the recipes from today's show for free. That's right, no subscriptions. They're available online at no cost, and more are being added each day. So join us at ctvn.org/at-home to get today's recipes now.
Well, as you can see, our table is totally full of all kinds of the goodies that we've made for you today. Let's start here. These are the Almond Joy, the Joyful eggs. I've made them into gift eggs. And then next to it is our paska bread. This is a regular loaf of just some wheat bread, but look, here's the breads that is baked with the egg in it. Next to them are the hot cross buns that we told you about. Don't they look good and inviting? With a little bit of marmalade. This is something that I'm going to include the recipe for that I did not get to present. This is an orange pecan Danish roll. Unbelievable. And back here is another gift egg with our smaller peanut butter eggs around it. Wouldn't you like to have one of these eggs for Easter? I think so too. And these are the diabetic eggs back here in the corner. We've just some beautifully colored Easter eggs. And here's our bunny. This is the bunny family. You can see here's the big ones and the babies here. I think these are a great addition to anybody's Easter table. Remember that Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life." Those are powerful words. I hope that you have taken them into your heart. I hope that they mean something to you. And I hope that this Easter you'll find yourself in church worshiping the Lord Jesus Christ. When he came out of that grave, he brought hope to humanity. He gave a generation that was without hope. He gave the world that was black in sin, black with sin. He gave us life and he gave us hope. I thank God every day for Jesus and what he did at Calvary. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, will you write to me? I'd really like to share even more in detail about the relationship that you can have with this risen Savior. His name is Jesus. I hope I've introduced him to you today. If you've known him for a long time, then rejoice with us and celebrate this wonderful day, the day that we celebrate the resurrection. Happy Easter to you, and be sure to join us the next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you here at home. We'll see you then, and happy Easter.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Fresh produce provided by Jordan Banana, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Dravosburg, Pennsylvania. Appliances provided by Decor Distinctive Appliances, a reflection of your good taste. Groceries provided by Foodland, where the answer is always yes. Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.